Okay, looks like we're live. Fantastic. What is going on, everybody? I hope you're all excited for the new year. And what I want to do with you today, since, you know, I'm not cool, so there's no parties going on for me right now. So instead, what I'm going to do is the next best thing. I'm going to give you a strategy to help you with fat loss this new year. So that's what we're going to do. So almost as good as a party, maybe. So, what I want to go over are a couple do's and don'ts that tend to happen every year. So, we're going to cover some of the don'ts and then we're going to go over some things that you should do to help you be successful. So, one of the first things a lot of people are tempted to do when you want to get in shape for the new year is completely change everything you're doing, right? You set these extremely high bars for your life. And what you're doing is you're making things a little bit too hard. And especially if you're doing this self-directed, then you want to make smaller changes. So what you want to do are things that you can see success with, right? But challenging enough to cause some changes to happen. So we're going to go into some specifics around your food because this is going to have one of the biggest impacts on you reducing body fat. And by the way, if you're somebody watching this on the replay, I want you to comment hashtag replay in the comment section. That way I know you were here. So I got a couple different screens up here trying to see if I can help out a couple different sites at once. Okay, so first thing with food that I see a lot of people doing that you do not want to do this year when you make your New Year's resolution to, let's say, lose 30 pounds. Do not cut out entire food groups. This is a mistake. So unless you've been directed by a doctor to, let's say, reduce your carbs to a certain amount because maybe you are insulin resistant, or maybe your doctor has told you to stay below a certain amount of protein, do not cut out meat. When you take these extreme approaches, especially if you're cutting out something like a food group that you enjoyed before, and right now I'm talking to some people who are tempted to go keto. Now, I don't have a problem with keto, but this is a good example. There's many of us who love carbohydrates, and you've heard that maybe keto helps you lose weight, so you'll do it, which means you are cutting out all carbs. You are setting yourself up for failure when you take that approach, especially if you're cutting out foods you enjoy. All right, so a better approach is you want to look at how you're currently eating, right? And remember, what we want to do here to make sure you have long lasting results and not do what most people do. Like, most people are going to lose a substantial amount of weight this year. You've probably lost a lot of weight yourself over the decades, but then you gained it back. And quite often it comes from making these extremely big changes. So we don't want to do that. So with food, don't cut out entire food groups. Instead, I want you to add to what you're currently doing. So now you're probably thinking, but coach, if I need to lose weight, why would I add stuff? Now, stay with me here. There's some things that if you add, right? So let's say you're eating a lot of fast food or a lot of packaged foods. I'm not going to tell you to cut those things out. Instead, add some veggies to it if you're typically not doing that. Add a serving of protein, a fist-sized amount of protein to all your meals. By adding things that's good for your body, what you're going to unknowingly start to do is you're going to stop having some of the other things that aren't serving you. So it's a different mindset. I don't want you to think about this that you're going to be restricting yourself. Not first going into it. Add things that are good for you. So some things that almost everybody can do today that you're probably not doing enough of is you're probably not having enough veggies and you're probably not having enough protein. So instead of deciding to go keto and cutting all carbs or deciding to cut all meat, unless you're, going vegan for ethical reasons, I think that's awesome. Add a serving of veggies. Add a serving of protein. And when you make smaller changes like this, it's something that you'll be able to stick to. It's a lot more doable And when things are doable, you can do it for a long time. And doing the same thing over and over again is how you develop habits. So once you've gotten into the habit of always having a serving of protein with all your meals, for example, you can then add another habit on top of it. Right now, maybe we can start making different changes. Now you can add something else to it. Now you can start worrying about things like portion sizes, right? Maybe now you have a little less processed food. You just reduce the portions, but you keep the protein high, keep your veggies high, and then you get really good at doing that. And especially if you're somebody who has a lot of weight to lose, changes like this will have a large impact on your physique. You're going to see that weight start to come off, and it's going to do it a lot easier. All right, so that's one thing around food. Make smaller changes. Change here, get used to it. Make another change, get used to it. All right. Something else that you're going to want to do will be having a plan. So this is an area where a lot of people end up failing when they go into the new year ready to get into incredible shape, right? You want to lose 25 pounds, or maybe you want to really work on your definition. Maybe you want to build up your glutes. Maybe you want to work on your arms. You know the result that you want, and you know that to get there, something with exercise has to happen. Some food stuff, if you do these things, it'll get you on the right path. So you hit the ground running. But when you don't have a plan, it's more likely that you're going to get lost. And we don't want that to happen. We don't want you lost along your journey. So you want to first get specific about your goal. So let's say you want to lose weight. Don't be as vague as, this year I'm going to lose weight. Know how much weight you want to lose specifically. And you want to have realistic targets. All right. And this is a place a lot of people fail. There's many people that, want to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. That's not going to happen in a way that'll be healthy. And it's not going to happen in a way that you can sustain. All right. So if you want a target to think about. All right. So first, I would plan to diet for about 12 weeks. Do it in like 12-week pieces. All right, because when you have an endpoint in mind, it makes it easier. Now, as far as how much weight should you aim to lose, I'd say if we're going off of like a weekly basis, aim to lose somewhere between 0.5% to maybe 1% of which you weigh per week. So we're not talking about a ton of weight, but the amount that I'm describing is enough that will have a noticeable impact on your physique, and you'll be able to maintain that rate. So plan for that. All right. So the thing that we're trying to achieve. And then you want to have a plan around your exercises. A lot of us, we go to the gym. You maybe have seen like some exercises off of social media and you go do it. Right. So I do think doing things are good. But one of the problems with following exercises that people are doing for themselves is it may not be the right thing for you. All right, so if you're a beginner, the things that you should be doing, all right, and the amounts will be different from somebody who's more advanced. So you want to make sure you're following a game plan that makes sense for you. Now, if you're doing this self-directed, there's a lot of good resources. I have good resources here all over my social media on how-tos for beginners. But you can just go online, look up vetted beginner programs. Pick one, stick to it. All right. And this is how you want to go about doing it. You do not want to be random, or what you're going to find is that you're going to work super hard, which I think a lot of people do. You might have done this last New Year's where you were doing just these crushing exercises. Maybe you joined a boot camp. You completely cut out meat. You went keto, vegan, whatever it was. You worked extremely hard. You got burnt out by March and you looked the same. We do not want that to happen. All right. We don't want you to burn out, and we also don't want you to not see results. So you want to have a plan that makes sense for where you are. All right. So make sure you're following some kind of protocol you trust. That's going to be the important part here. Don't be random with it. Find somebody who resonates with you, who looks like they help people get results, whatever it is, and then you follow it. Stick to it. That's going to help you get to where you need to go. And As far as the changes, especially if you're self-directed from an exercise standpoint, you want to make sure that you are doing things that does not disrupt your life too much. Now, if you're not doing this self-directed, like there's a third party helping you, somebody like a coach, a community, then you can do things that are a little more disruptive because you have community to help keep you on target. This is one reason why us coaches can get results out of our clients relatively quick. But if you're doing this by yourself, let's say you always wake up at 10 a.m., all right? Don't start waking up at 5 a.m. because you heard somebody, your favorite influencer, say they all do it and you see their results. They didn't just get that way overnight. This is something that they built up to. You want to do something that you can keep up with. So let's say you always wake up at 10 a.m. Your days are really busy, but you believe that waking up earlier could help you with exercise. Don't wake up at 5. Maybe wake up at 9 a.m., right? Things that you can actually fit. And then as far as how many times should you exercise, if you see somebody posting, whose physique you want to look like, and they're exercising 7 times per week, but you're doing 0 right now, don't do what they do. All right. Start with, if you're really busy, start with 1. All right. And then once that's become a habit, you can add 2 workouts per week. You want to do things that are at the right pace for you. All right, because if you do things too extreme, if you focus on going too fast, you're going to find yourself burnt out and end up regaining the weight again. You want to make sure that you are able to instill in yourself habits. And the best way to instill a habit is not to do a complete overhaul of your life. Add things piece by piece. All right, so once you've got into the habit of, let's say, working out 2 times per week. Maybe it's only cardio. Maybe you're not doing any walking, right? And now you're walking. You've gotten used to that. Okay, now we can add a little strength training in. You get used to that. Enjoy the results. And then you keep on stacking these wins. And what you're going to find is that over long time periods, you are going to get the results that you're looking for. Now, something else, and these are expectations. Do not expect to be a completely different person this year. Expectations really play a large role in how consistent you can be with what you're doing. So, maybe you have 80 pounds you'd like to lose. Don't plan to lose all 80 this year. Plan to be a little better than you currently are. Go do 12 weeks of dieting. Right? And once you've done your 12 weeks, and this is something that many people do not do, have some time maintaining your weight. Plan on a proper maintenance phase. This is something that will dramatically increase your success. All right, because we're always thinking about just going down in weight, going down. But then we always go right back up again because you didn't plan a proper maintenance phase. So have a time period that once you've seen some success, maybe you lost 10 pounds right over the course of 12 weeks, which I think is something to celebrate. Once you've done that and you have your new body composition, enjoy it. All right? You want to go into a proper maintenance. Now, what does a proper maintenance phase look like? So what it does not look like is you go back to eating the exact way you did before when you first started your journey. That's how you gain the weight back. Now, just like we made small changes to get down to the results that you've seen, you want to make small changes to go the opposite way to maintain what you've changed, right? So if you had gotten to a point where, you were not eating any packaged foods, or maybe you reserve them for special occasions, all right? What you don't want to do is just bring all that stuff back, because if you do exactly what you did before, you're going to become the person you were before. So you want to start easing back, bringing back some fun stuff. Maybe now you're eating more food than you did before, right, to lose that weight. But the foods that you're eating more of are still those same healthy foods. This is how I recommend going into a maintenance. You eat more, but it's more of the healthy stuff. All right. And this is because what happens when you lose a lot of weight is that our bodies, they don't want to be the new weight. When you've lost a lot of body fat, our body doesn't like that. And it's going to try to fight you to get back to where you were. So understanding this, if you plan for a proper maintenance, it's a way to make your body what's the word I'm looking for? It's something called the set point. So that's the amount of fat your body likes to have on you. All right, you had one set point, you lost a lot of weight, your body wants to go back to that set point again. You can settle in at a new point, but to do this, you need to have a plan for maintenance. So slowly increasing healthy food choices, right? You don't want to go back to your old habits. And you want to spend time doing this. You want to work on becoming stronger. You want to spend roughly the same amount of time in maintenance that you did going through your diet. When you do this right, you're going to find that you're able to eat more food, but maintaining your new body composition. Now, let's go back to the example of somebody that has to lose maybe 80 pounds, but you lost like 10 in this first phase. Once you've done some maintenance and you've enjoyed that 10 pounds off of you, you can now then diet again. So I really want you to change how you think about weight loss. You don't want to think I'm going to make these big changes in a small time period. For most people, it's going to probably take 2 years. I mean, to get to a place where you've lost body fat, which a lot of people will do, but then you might notice that you don't have shape. So once you lose the body fat, you need to work on maintenance, building up muscle. And then you need to lose some more body fat, and then you build up some more, going to another maintenance phase. So you want to think of it in cycles. Break it up into little pieces. And then once you do that, you're going to look up and you're going to be at your goal, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to maintain it. So my biggest takeaways for going into this new year: first, make sure you have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you are going to plan to fail. And there's many different ways you can get a plan. If you're going self-directed, find somebody. It does not have to be me. Find somebody who resonates with you, who's proven that their methods can help people get results. Many of us have free resources. You don't have to buy our stuff. Many of us put free stuff out there, and try some of that. See if it works for you, right? That's one way you can go about doing this. Now, another way is to go directed, where you have somebody walk with you. Any of these ways are fine. But the important thing is you want a plan you're going to stick to. And you want to plan to stick to be doing this for a couple months. Don't think 30 days, all right? If it's a fat loss phase, at least 3 months. And after 3 months, you probably won't have the full transformation. That's going to be just a part of it, all right? Second thing, don't make super big changes all at once. If you do that, you're going to make it very hard. And as we all know, when things are harder, it's easier to fail. So you want to make things easier. So change things piece by piece. If it's food, do not remove entire food groups. Do not cut out meat if there's not a medical or ethical reason to do it. Do not cut out carbs if there's not a medical reason to do it. And please do not cut out things that will have no effect on your physique. If your goal is fat loss, there is no reason to cut out diet soda or coffee or chewing gum. You're making things harder for no reason. All right, so easier things. What I recommend you do first is to add things you're currently not having. If you're not having enough protein, what I recommend, without getting the numbers, have like a fist size of protein on your plate 3 times a day. That's a good start. All right, start there. Get used to that for a couple weeks, and then you can add more veggies. Get used to that for a couple weeks. And by doing that, just by definition, with adding these other things, it's going to force some of that other stuff to come off of your plate. All right? Do not drink your calories. Small changes you get used to. They work. Same thing with exercise. All right? If you're not exercising at all, this does not mean that you should join a boot camp. I mean, boot camps are great, but, if you're not doing anything, doing something super extreme, you're going to probably burn out. You want something that meets you where you are and then gives you a little challenge, right? So if you're not exercising, let's say you are sedentary, have a goal to walk more. Walk intentionally for half an hour every day. Get used to that for like a week or two, a couple weeks. Once you've gotten used to that, okay, I'm becoming more fit now. Maybe I'll start walking a little faster. Maybe I'll walk a little longer. And then you can start adding some exercises into that. All right, I'm going to do 2 10-minute full body workouts at home, right? You add that to the walking. You want to slowly just add another challenge. And then before you know it, changes are going to happen in your body. These things will be a lot more long lasting. And then the last thing, plan for a time in maintenance. You do not want to diet forever. All right? If you do, well, you would die, right? Because dieting is, you're losing body fat, all that. You want to have a time for maintenance. Diet for like 3 months, then maintenance for 3 months. Plan for it, and then you can diet again. This will make things a lot easier, and you will have more success this new year. So again, anybody who's watched this on the replay, just comment #replay in the comment section. That way I know you were here, and I hope everybody has a awesome New Year's. This can be the year where you can make some real progress in your life, with your health, with your fitness. It's something I probably should have covered first. But the most important thing that you're going to want to do is take action towards it. It doesn't have to be big action. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. But you do want to do something. Don't keep that transformed you as just a thought, something you daydream about, something that you think would be nice to do. If I had the time, I would get there. If I had the money, I'd hire a coach. If the gym was closer, I would go. Don't do that. Don't keep it in your mind. All right? Because the only thing that's going to happen if you do that is that you won't be at your goal. Time is going to pass. And the only thing that's guaranteed to happen with time passing with no action is that you're just older. So we don't want that. So don't make that mistake. Do something. All right. And that's it for today's training. I appreciate everybody who spent their time with me today. Again, if you watch this on the replay, comment #replay in the comment section. And now going into the new year, if you're somebody who does not want to do this self-directed, I do have a couple spots available. So if you would like some help, message me, new me. That way I know you need some help. Or just go through my content. There's a lot of free stuff here. I give you everything. So all the tools you'll need, you can find on my social media pages and implement it for yourself. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Take care.